Hello everybody, Snapper and Garage is back, and today we're explaining batteries. Just what you need to know when buying yourself batteries because they're expensive. So starting off, what is a cell? This is something that gets asked a lot. Even though if you know what cell your car takes, good to know what they are. So in general, cell is something that creates chemical energy into electrical energy. So starting out, no cell is your entire battery. So for example, if you're trying to build a battery that is like huge, crazy massive, for example, you can see this on YouTube, guys will take 3.7, so that's typical. This is a single cell battery or something probably. And yeah, 1S 3.7 volt. And then this is also probably, yeah, another 3.7. This is also, it's going to be a bigger milliamp, but also 3.7. So each cell is making 3.7 volts. That's creating it from chemical energy into real energy, 3.7 volts. That's common. That's what it usually is. So people will take, if you're making that massive battery, you have like 150 to like infinite of these small batteries that are about this big, 3.7 volt. You solder them all together, and each cell you add it up, and then you can get a battery that's like, if you need a battery, it's like 30,000 milliamps or 30,000 volts or something crazy. That can be done by doing that, just by adding those numbers up as you add batteries. So that's the best explanation I can give you of what a cell is. So this is one cell. This is a 3.7 volt. So if you wired a bunch, like if you wired 8,400 of these together, or not, sorry, if you wired a bunch of these together, I'm not doing that math right now, you could get this battery, which is 8,400. And if you took about, that's about it that wise, but to get this many milliamps, you need 8,400 of these batteries. Milliamp hours is basically how long your battery is going to run for. So this battery is only 3 cell. So is this battery. And this battery is a 2 cell, but yeah, I think you guys understand it. I'm pretty sure this is also a 3 cell. That goes to show that cells are mostly size-wise. So even though they're all the same amount of cells, milliamps is basically your size, if that makes sense. So length of the battery, like range, I guess you could say. So this battery is going to have a lot less range than this battery will, because it's 8,400 milliamps to 1,000 milliamps. And that's basically the difference, even though they're all 3 cells. And I'm pretty sure this one is doing 11.1. So this battery is going to have a slow or very low life, because this is basically my plain battery in my Carbon Cub S2. It's a great battery, it's Gens Ace, but the issues with these is that since they're 2,200 milliamps and pushing 11.1 volts, which is the higher voltage for RC, is going to be low because it's using a lot of power out of a smaller battery with a high C rating. C rating is how much power a battery can push out punch-wise. For example, here you go. Even though this is brushless, it's a small little brushless motor. Actually, a better thing to use that with is kind of what you're leaning up against right now, is my Mudslinger TRX4M. That thing is a smaller battery because this is 7.4 volts. That's what that needs to run your servo, your motor, and your ESC. Meanwhile, this thing needs 11.4 volts because it has a big brushless, a big ESC, a fans, and I'm pretty sure 2 servos. So it needs that, but it's also getting only about 20 minutes because it's 1,700, but 7.4 volts. So you're not going to get a lot of fly time. If you're asking me why that thing gets more battery life than this thing will in a plane, is because planes use a lot of power. They're pushing super high RPMs, so is that, but even higher because they're spinning a prop, which is usually pretty low pitch. Pitch is how much pitch is the prop, how much air it's pushing, basically. And since this battery is only doing about 2,200 milliamps, and it's pushing that much power to run all the servos, probably like 10 of them, the ESC, the safe, all that stuff, super complicated. That's why this thing has such a low flight time compared to this thing, where it has one ESM, I think it is, one servo, and one motor and a fan. So, if you're wondering what size is, I hope you're not. This is basically another thing that's very good to know. This battery can 100% go in this car. 100% go in this car. If you can get it to fit in there, you get the right connectors on it, it'll 100% work. Because even though it's 8400 milliamps, but it is 11.4 volts, it is the right voltage, basically. So this one is... Oh, never mind. It's not. But it'll go in this car, actually. Perfect. Never mind. So whatever car is 11.4 volts, as long as the voltage is maps, and yes, this battery, or this will overvolt it, but for example, if your car is 11.4 volts, you can run a 7.4 volt battery, but it's going to be undervolting, it's going to be super slow. Overvolting it, it's just going to blow it up, fry it. But, so this battery, if this car is 11.4 volts, which it's 7.4, this can 100% go in that car, as long as you can get it to fit. And this battery can 100% go in that boat, because that's also 11.4 milliamps, even though you'd probably get your 80 mile or kilometer an hour run maybe once, because it's so low, but you probably would. As you can see, this battery is 7.4, or I'm pretty sure it's probably 7.4 volt. As you can tell, another one, this is 7.4 volts, but it's a 400 tier SCX24 battery. And that goes to show why the SCX24 batteries are a lot less range on them, is because they're smaller compared to this thing. Even though they do have less to run, still. That is mostly what I want to tell you guys. That's super helpful. Anything else I would say is that's about it. And it works both ways. Like, you can put a way bigger battery in a smaller car, same amperage. We'll just go over everything again really quick. C volt, in simple terms, C is punch. It's punch of how fast it'll go as soon as you pull the trigger, and how much how much it's going to be pushing under light load or under high or heavy load. For example, if you punch a Sur-On, it's going to go immediately. It has crazy C because it's a massive battery. It's like, I think they're like 60 volts. There's some crazy bikes that are like 94. I think it's like a Komodo or something, but I'm not sure. But they will go because they have the crazy C, and they have crazy milliamps and crazy voltage. So if you combine all those stuff together, you have a big battery. If you combine all of the small stuff together, like a single cell, low milliamps and low stuff, you're gonna have a small battery. But if you have one thing to run, if you're running a motor like this, and you just need it to spin, it's light load, this will be fine. But if you're running a motor that's a chunky brushless motor, you're gonna need something like this, because it takes a lot more power, it needs a lot more C, and needs more voltage. In the end, that's basically what I want to explain to you guys. I forgot to explain this also, so I already did, but might as well go over it again. A cell is basically chemical. So what's in these batteries are lithium. Lithium is not it's a chemical. It's not even a chemical. You could call it ore, but people, I guess they call it a chemical. I'm not a scientist. So, I guess since it's a chemical, you're converting chemical into electrical energy. What's in here is whatever you will. How many cells? 3 cell. I forgot that again. So many numbers. So if this is 3 cell, to get 11.4 volts, this is what's so crazy when people go, oh my god, it's 12S. It's because 12S is crazy because think about this. If this is 11.4 volts and each one is usually a cell is pushing out 3.7. We know this because that's what Google says. And for example, right here, this is a hobby zone battery for like some tiny UMX or something. And it is, I don't know if you see that. I'm pretty sure it's 11 point or 3.7. This one's also 3.7. And this one's also 3.7. So usually it's like 3.8, 3.7. So if you took a bunch of these batteries and glued them together, you get this. Or solder them together, you get this. So when they convert so that's why 12S is crazy, or 12S is so crazy, because if you have 11.4 or 11.1 volts, so massive battery, and you're gonna put 12 of so you put basically 2 or 3 of these together, it's gonna be a lot of volts. It's gonna be like crazy amount. I'm not doing math right now, but even though it's simple, it's gonna be a lot of voltage, because if this is 11, so on and so on, you glue 1,000 of these together, you're gonna have a crazy battery. So again, if you're building a massive battery, you take a bunch of cells, 3.7 volt or 3.8 volt cells, you solder them together, you're gonna have a battery that's like, I don't know, 800 amps, or not, oh my gosh, going crazy here, like 800, not 800 anything, just crazy amount of power going through that, because you're adding all that voltage up, and then the milliamps, you're adding all that milliamps up. So if these are 3.7, or these cells are also massive, so they're going to be more than that. So however many these cells are, if there's 3, you just do 11.1 divided by 3, you'll get how much battery, or how many, what's it called, how many amps these are pushing out. It's the same with all of these. Since these are smaller cells, they're going to be pushing out less, 7.4 volt. And since this is one cell, it's going to be pushing out nothing because it's tiny. It's going to be pushing, like, I think that's actually 4.8. Same with this one. I don't think it's this one is one cell, as you can see, 1S. I don't know if oh my gosh, I can't tell, everything's backwards. This is 1S, and it's 3.7. Yeah, 3.7 volt. That's how you know this is 3.7 volt. Anyways, I hope that helps. Thank you very much, guys, for watching.